Hello everyone, this is Kishore here, and uh, I am from Center for Quantum Technologies, and I'm going to talk about local certification of programmable quantum devices of arbitrary high dimensionality. This work was done jointly with Maharshi Ray, Antonius Barvitsiotis, Adan Cavello, and Leong Chuan Kwek. I thanks Aquis for giving me an opportunity to present my work. So basically, if I can tell the essence of my work, it's like the message is very simple. Uh, for communication, it has been very like so far Bell non-locality has been used very nicely, and it makes sense that if you are talking about Bell non-locality, its application can come in communication setup. But the moment you want to talk about computation or certification of local devices or certification of programmable quantum devices, you should think of some phenomena which is not non-local, and something like contextuality could be of help there. Moreover, people have been very much obsessed about device independent theory. What we are saying that we should also think about Bob independent theory. We should think about theories where there is Alice but not Bob, because in matters of uh, lack of trust, it's very difficult to have two parties and basically build theories assuming that each of them are honest. So yeah, I mean that's the central message of my talk. So basically, the goal is to characterize untrusted devices. And then non-locality based self-testing can be, as we know, that one can use them to characterize quantum devices via measurement statistics. But we know that Bell non-locality, at least you can mathematically show, is a special case of contextuality where the meaning of context is provided by the space-like separation of the parties involved. So the question is it possible to extend the notion of self-testing to non-Bell self-contextuality scenario where context is not provided by a locality? What I mean to say that can we extend the notion of self-testing to single party scenario? And basically with my colleagues like back in the past we wrote some paper which was eventually published in PRL, where we showed that indeed you can do it, but that work was only for a smaller dimensional systems. What we did that we like in this archive, basically we built further theory based on it, and we extended it to arbitrary dimensional system. We gave like a general strategy to link it to graph theory and proved some interesting mathematical results, and then talked about how to use it for device certification. Also, we proved some interesting properties about graphs, like which graphs can be linked to self-testing and which graph cannot. Okay, so we know that in Bell scenario, there is this concept of robust self-testing. What it basically means that like given you have some statistics of a quantum test, if the measurement setting and a state, if you can infer them up to some uniquely up to some local isometry, then what you have is self-testing. So for example, if you have some CHSH inequality, and if you achieve the quantum bond, which is equal to 2 root 2, then self-testing basically says that the underlying measurement setting and a state must be what you are seeing here on the slide up to some local isometry. To basically understand it, let's understand the notion of Bell inequality. So Bell inequality geometrically is basically some hyperplane that separates the set of local behaviors from the non-local behaviors. And let's denote the maximum quantum value by BQ for a Bell inequality. Now, what self-testing says that if there is some configuration in Hilbert space A for Alice and Hilbert space B for Bob, some quantum state psi which is shared, and the local measurement settings for Alice and Bob, if it attains, let's say, BQ, and if there's another configuration like primed configuration which also attains BQ, then these two configurations must be related via some local isometry V equal to VA tensor VV, like in this fashion which you see here. Moreover, the self-testing is robust. That basically means that instead of BQ, if you achieve BQ minus epsilon, then with respect to the ideal configuration, whatever configuration like that can attain BQ minus epsilon, it should be order epsilon or close to the ideal configuration. So what we do that here, we try to look at the notion of self-testing in the setup of contextuality, and basically we prove some interesting mathematical results and like talk about its repercussions in real life and like in device certification. So contextuality, basically to talk about contextuality, we should think about non-contextuality. So non-contextuality basically says that the values of observables do not depend on their compatible measurement performed jointly. So if you have A, B, and C, A and B can commute, A and C can commute, but it could be possible that B and C do not commute because, because the commutation relation in quantum mechanics is not commutative. And quantum mechanics is a contextual theory. I mean, it has been proved. What it means that so basically, given a theory, if the value assigned to an observable does not depend on the context in which it has been measured, then the theory is called non-contextual. Otherwise, it is contextual. And quantum theory is a contextual theory. There are like proofs of it, like many proofs people have proved over and over again, like simplified it and so on. And you can look in the literature. Very recently, Cavallo, Severini, and Winter, they gave a exclusivity graph approach to contextuality. So what they said that like you can talk about measurement events. Like a measurement event is basically like some measurement and the corresponding outcome. So that you call a measurement event. So suppose you have a set of measurement events where some events are mutually exclusive. What mutually exclusive event means is that they correspond to same measurement but different outcome. So for example, I measure some of x, some operator x, and if I get one in the one case and if zero in other case, then if one happens, then the other cannot happen. What it means that the first event is exclusive with respect to the other event. Now, what one can do that is capture the exclusivity relation of the events using some graph. So here I have a graph which where I have events E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, where they are cyclically exclusive. So whatever is exclusive, you just connect them by some edge. Now, using this graph framework, you can study, for example, the CHSH inequality. And there are 8 events like which appear in the CHSH inequality. And the corresponding graph is this graph, which is called CI814, some circulant graph. Now, what you can do that, you can define like something called behavior. What it means that you, for every event, you talk about the probability of a happening of the event such that if events I and j are exclusive, then pi plus pj is less than equal to 1. Now, you can further define something called a deterministic non-contextual behavior. It is a mapping where, you map from like for you map you basically take the probabilities to be 0 or 1. And then the polytope of non-contextual behaviors, that's basically is the convex hull of all deterministic non-contextual behaviors. And the facets of that polytope is what gives you the non-contextuality inequalities. So if your behavior lies inside the polytope, then basically it's non-contextual. If it's outside, basically what I mean with respect to some facet, if it's outside, then then it's basically a contextual behavior. So quantum theory is a contextual theory, and here what we do that we describe the quantum description through some density matrix rows. The projectors are some pi1 to pi n, and the probability of happening of some event I is given by trace of rho pi I. And we say that like events I and j are, if they are exclusive, then you assign projectors pi I and pi j to them such that trace of pi I pi j is equal to 0. Now, the set of quantum behaviors, we can denote that by some set BQG. And let's say the quantum value corresponding to the non-contextuality inequality that we are talking about here, let's denote by BQC. So the non-contextuality inequality, you can think about that, as like a more general kind of Bailey inequality. And you can further, define the notion of self-testing for the case of non-contextuality inequality, like this notion of self-testing and robust self-testing. And then using like a semi-definite program, you can show how to prove self-testing. So like we give a systematic a strategy to show like self-testing. So we have some theorems which you can go in detail like through our paper, or you can talk to me in person, like, but I cannot go in detail because of lack of time. Moreover, we have some strategy like using which you can every non-contextuality inequality you can relate to some graph, and then by following some strategy you can show that the like when does the non-contextuality inequality admits robust self-testing. And then you can show that this generalized K-series inequality, it admits robust self-testing. Moreover, we show that any anti-n cycle graph admit is epsilon half robust self-test. And for that, we use some primal dual characteristic of cycle graphs and related to anti-cycle, and prove some interesting theorems related to that. Moreover, we show that for all odd n, the dimension in which the quantum realization corresponding to anti-n cycle graph achieve the maximum is n minus 2. And yeah, like we prove it in some way. So basically using our strategy, like one can hope to like basically certify devices. So it's like you select some graph for which like the corresponding non-contextuality inequality admits self-testing, and you then program the optimal configuration on in your programmable quantum device. You generate the statistics, and if you get the statistics which correspond to maximum quantum violation, then basically you have attained, then you can know that what is happening in the device is what you really wanted to happen there. Moreover, it's robust. What it means that it's tolerant to noise. Now we have some semi-definite programming based strategy which you can go in detail, and we can talk in person about that sometime later. Okay, so there like furthermore we show that not all graphs can be self-tested, but what it means that their canonical non-contextuality inequality need not be self-testable. And then there are many interesting open questions which if you are interested we can talk about that also in future. This whole the strategy that we provide is very algorithmic, and there are like many nice mathematical questions starting from here, and it is towards basically certifying single devices. So what we are saying that instead of Bell non-locality, we should focus on contextuality if we want to like test like certify single devices, because Bell non-locality is good for communication, but for computation you should use something which is local, and our message is that use contextuality there. So with this, I will thank Acquis 20 again for giving us the opportunity to present our work. And thanks again. And if you have any questions, please email me, or like via Slack, or via Facebook, or via YouTube comments. Please contact me, and I will be very happy to discuss. So thanks again. And with this, I close my talk.